All right. So, I mean, at this point, like I said, the main part is just that you guys are going to knock this exam out. Um, and then once you guys are done, like I said, just screenshot your results to me, and then we you pretty much will be done. As far as the exam, the cost for it is 175. This also is something that essentially will be reimbursed to you. Now here's the deal, is that you guys can actually apply right now for your ITA account, your individual training account. So each of you have an individual worker that you guys are working with. And now would be the time for you guys to try to apply for your training dollars so that you guys can get reimbursed for your equipment. Also, the equipment that you guys got is only like a small portion of the equipment that you guys are supposed to get. So um the equipment that you guys are outlined for, I mean, this may change, of course, over time, but as of right now, the equipment that you guys are supposed to get is about $2,000 worth of equipment. Okay, for the year and a half, and so make sure that you contact whoever your representative is. I would do that on Monday, and ensure that you tell them, I just want to get my ITA account situated so that I can at least get the funds for our equipment. I mean, you would think that, we're about a month in now. And then also on top of that, um, we're done with the pilot exam. Like, to be honest, this part was the easiest part in many ways. I mean, it's by no means easy, but it was the easiest out of all of the content, more than likely, that you guys are about to um, dive into. Over the next few weeks, um, let's go back to the information marketplace. Let's look at the let's look at the guidance document, and let's just take a look at where we will be going next before you guys dive in. Second. All right. So actually, here's the thing. You guys are doing so we got part 107, which is done. We have introduction to Python. We have C++ for beginners, and then we have Linux 101. I'm trying to think about I'm trying to think about if I want to switch any of those around, any of your modules around. Um, I think I don't know. I think the command line is almost it's almost more important. Um, let's see. So for Python, you guys will be doing the you guys will I mean, so we'll stick to the schedule and we'll just thug it out. Which means that what December you guys will be doing C++. So okay, so cool. So basically, if we go this route, you guys will be done with the base level coding. Um, you'll be done with the base level coding by the end of the year. How does that sound? Does that sound reasonable? Like, does that sound like it makes sense?
Well, yeah, on paper, it sounds like it makes sense. I
Okay.
don't know. Again, once you start learning something, it can take time. So, but yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, you guys are basically, I mean, it sounds more complicated than it is. Like once you really start diving into like coding, it's not like, okay, all right, being on this side of it, right? Like I'm thinking about when I was on your side of it. and I didn't, I knew minimal. Um, it's not as complex as people make it seem. I think that one, you have very few people who are software developers. Like only 1% of the workforce develops software. On top of that, you have a situation where that 1% of software developers, how many of them are good teachers, right?
Right. Right.
So that's why I feel like it's such a mystique behind it, because you don't really have that many people who can really break it down and explain it. More or less, people who are cultured that can
Hmm.
break it down, and create that shared meaning from a cultural perspective, right? Like
Right.
so that's really what it boils down to. But it's not it's not going to be as difficult as you guys think. So we'll go ahead and we'll drudge through Python. Python is actually the easier of the two languages. C++ is more so it's the more difficult of the languages. I have more experience. I mean, I started out with C++. I touched C++ before I touched Python.
Okay.
And I have more experience personally with Python just because it's just used more often, just in the industry, in the AI industry with data science, etc. But C++ is important. C++ is a situation where you have an advanced product, and you know that people want this product, it's selling, etc. Now it's okay, how do you make that product faster? How do you make the system run faster, etc.? Then you would take the Python code and you would change it over to the C++ equivalent. Okay, because C++ is a faster language. So for research, Python is cool, etc. But when you're talking about a real-time system, you're going to want to run that on a C++. Okay. In January, we'll be hitting Linux 101. You guys will learn the command line. Xavier, you kind of got an idea and an opportunity to kind of see the command line um, during the boot camp when we were in the terminal.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
Linux. Yep, that's the Linux command line. So all I was doing was just command line commands in order to be able to manipulate the terminal. So you guys will kind of learn that. Um, February, we're looking at um, drone software development, market analysis, and career counseling. Um, March, machine vision, and the Jetson will be working with the Nano instead of the TX2. April, building autonomous systems with Ross, which would be fun. I love Ross. Ross is a pretty cool language. And then May, we're looking at low propulsion systems and satellite technology. Um, and then June, space propulsion systems. So that basically takes us out into the middle of next year, right? You can see you guys are going to get away from the coding, and then now you're going to focus more so on like other aspects of um, drone systems, and basically more research based, more applied research. For example, maybe you'll be downloading software that runs on a satellite or something like that, etc. So there's a lot of stuff that we're going to get into, so it should be exciting. But basically the hard work I put up front so that we can grind through it, and then once we're done we'll be able to kind of cruise. Okay, so that's pretty much what we have from that particular standpoint. Are there any questions that you guys have outside of taking the exam? I recommend, for example, if you want, you could study for the rest of between now and noon. And then between the 1 and 4 block, you can take the exam. And then we'll give you guys your hours. And if you have any questions in between now and then, you can let me know or reach out. But otherwise, you guys will be done with the module. I recommend that you guys take um, the exam as soon as you possibly can. Um, if you've never taken the exam before, Xavier, a place that you will have to go to take it, you can take it. There's a place. Um, I like a there's a place that I normally go. They're a really good partner and colleague of ours, um, out of Iowa, and it's by the mall and I by the Bluffs Mall, and I go out there and I take it. I can't remember what the it's like flight something. Um, but you would see it when you Google testing centers. There's also another testing center by Epley, I believe. So you can choose either testing center. Like I said, I recommend that you take it as soon as you can, but also at the same time apply for those funds as soon as you can so they can hurry up and come down and you can get reimbursements, etc. for not only the test but also for any hardware, etc. And then also you guys will be able to get the rest of your hardware um, and technology, which will be needed eventually as we go through the rest of these modules.
Where
Uh,
do I apply for those funds that you're talking about for the reimbursement?
I would do it on Monday, and then basically just let them know that you're trying to set up an ITA account, which is an individual training account, and that so for example, you, the training, for example, like your actual wages, that those come down like a third of the way, right? Like through the program, etc. The actual funds for equipment, those can come down now. Even with us, for example, like we don't get reimbursed for training, um, for our wages for training until a third of the way through as well. So none of that money comes down until like a third of the way. But you can get your training funds now in order to be able to get all your equipment, etc. And the reimbursements. So I would apply for those immediately, and then if you need any help, like let me know. And then I can step in, as a sponsor and take care of whatever needs to be taken care of.
So
If
I
it's
apply for it through the FAA,
No, you want to apply through it through the workforce, through
the
whoever.
workforce.
Yeah, so whoever, for example, whoever in Colorado that you're going through, that's your main point of contact that you've been talking to about, um, getting the WIOA program to pay for courses. You get an individual training account with them, and then through that individual training account, that pays for um, your wages, and that also pays for your training and your equipment. And the only thing that you can tap into right now, you can't tap into the wages right now. You can't tap into we can't tap into any training dollars, but we can tap into the equipment costs right now. So you
Okay.
so that's what you want to contact them and say, hey, we started our apprenticeship. We just got done with our first module. Um, I'm getting ready to take my license, but next week, which will be the first week in November, we're going to actually start a new module, right? And we're starting coding. And so you need the rest of your equipment in order to be able to be adequately prepared for these upcoming modules, because you're going to be coding all the way through the beginning of the year.
Okay.
So just do that. Make sure you do that on Monday, and then I will support you guys however you need to be supported. Otherwise, you guys can enjoy your afternoon. Like I said, study hard, knock it out, do well. I'm proud of you guys for the time that you guys have put in, because it is no small task. Like I said, normally this is a 6-week course, and you guys crammed it into 4 weeks, right? Which is crazy. And this is the first time that I've taught it in a 4-week format. But now that I have taught it in 4 weeks, I do believe that it can be done in 4 weeks, right? Like, and it doesn't need to be done in six. And so that's something that's pretty cool. Outside of that, do you guys have any questions?
One question. So if you pay for the test, but then you don't pass it, is there like, if you take it again, is it a full fee or is there like a discounted rate? Do you know?
If you take it again, you know what? I do not know that for sure. Um, I don't think you know what? I won't oh, Okay, yeah. So T is saying that you gotta pay full price every time that you take it. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to, I'm gonna go with her on that one.
Okay.
Um, so here's the thing: don't even have that in your mind. Like,
Right.
don't even think about, right, like, because you know how the mind works, right? So
Yeah.
just have it in your mind that you're gonna kill the exam. And then also here's the other thing. Like, I'll tell you guys a secret. This is how I got into law school. Okay, I got into law school because I was talking to Hill Harper, and I met him on the Oprah show, right? Like, he was coming out with his book at the time, Letters to a Young Brother. And they had an after, like, for all the guests on the Oprah show, they had like this little after function, whatever. So I met him there, and I was talking to him. I said, how'd you get into law school? And he said the LSAT, which is the entry exam. He said I had to, I took the test as many times as I could, like just over and 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 over again, right? So if you feel like the score that you're getting isn't what you want to have confidently walking into that exam, then I would just take the two practice exams from week 5 and week 6. I would just take those over and over again, right?
Hmm.
Like, and just take them until you feel comfortable. And the thing is, you're going to start seeing the same questions. The FAA only pulls from like a certain amount of sets of questions, right? Like,
Right.
so eventually you're gonna start like blazing through it, and you're gonna be like, oh no, that, and then it's gonna be like cake, right?
Right.
So just do it that way, repetition, and you should be fine. And then, like I said, the other key is that you want to take the test as soon as you can. So even if, for example, throughout the week, suppose you're going to take it like next weekend or the week after next, then in between now and then, every other day, take a test. Every other day, take a test, right? Like, so you should be sitting there, eating, breathing. Don't relax until you take the test. Like, you take the practice exam today, you get a decent score, and then you're like just chilling until like you actually take the test. Don't do that.
Mm.
Make sure that you're taking practice exams throughout. Normally, like I said, we have people take the test, we have them take a practice test, and then we say just go in the next day and just take it, right? Like,
Right.
and so, like I said, you want to make sure that you're taking practice exams, every other day. You're keeping the information fresh in your mind. Maybe the videos, for example, on the website. Maybe you're just listening to the videos while you're chilling, like a podcast or something like that, right?
Mm.
Um, and so there's other ways to get it to seep into your mind, but you want to take the exam as quick as possible, coming off of a thorough and rigorous regimen of studying. Okay. You don't want it to be a gap in your studying and then you go take the exam and then you're surprised, because you don't want to, 175 ain't, like, it ain't the most in the world, but it ain't cheap either, right? Like, that's a couple
Right.
cell phone bills. So yeah, let's go ahead, let's knock it out on the first time around, and get it out the way, right? So that you don't have to worry about it anymore for another 2 years. Let that be something that sets in. You don't have to take it again for 2 years. And when you take it again, you don't have to pay for it ever again. The recurrent exam does not cost. You do not have to you do not have to pay for the course ever again. So that 175 is really like a lifetime membership of being a drone pilot. But you just got to take the recurrent every 2 years for free. Okay.
All right. Gotcha.
So go ahead. Go ahead, Tia. Okay. T is also T is Yeah, T is recommending that if you guys have any issues on medars or on charts, for example, you guys can go to YouTube and Google it. There's a lot of other material Definitely. And also, if you guys, like I said, if you guys don't forget, there's a bunch of links that have been included in some of the slides, etc. That will allow you guys to also go to some other resources. What I'll do in the future, I'm just going to take in the future, I'll take those links out and I'll just make them videos that can just be with their own buttons that can just be uh, that can be accessed, for that particular course. So yeah, so you guys should be good. Are there any other questions that you guys have? Jamie, I know you just hopped on. Um, Basically, there's a few things. Just make sure that um, you use the morning to study, and then in the afternoon when you feel comfortable, you can go ahead and take the test. Once you take it, just send me the results. um Also, I just wanted, really quickly before I let you guys go, I just wanted to touch base on a lot of the stuff that's going on um with the economy, because it does affect us. And so right now you have a situation where the housing market is in a bubble, right? Like, for example, I think Zillow is an organization that started buying houses during the pandemic. They have a portfolio of about 3,000 homes. 75% of the homes are selling for below market. They're making a loss. They're taking a loss on about 75% of their houses when they're selling them. And it's basically and then they actually stopped buying houses. They stopped their buying program. And so what it's telling you is that there's a bubble in the housing market. um and that's something, to think about, that has large ramifications around the rest of the sector. In addition to that, there's also supply chain issues that you guys are hearing about that are going to be exacerbated and are only going to get worse. This means that people can't get customers are ordering stuff, but then the companies can't actually fulfill those orders, and so companies are losing money hand over fist. And as the holiday comes, it's going to be, increased. And so that has ramifications: gas going up, food prices, the devaluation of the dollar. It's all leading towards a crash. For example, the bubble for the housing market is one third. The numbers are one third of what they were when the crash happened in um 2008, meaning that um the highs, like the bubble, has risen 25% higher than it was during the '08 crash. So it's definitely a bubble. It's definitely a lot that's going to happen. You guys are in a good position because you are focusing on the software development, the automation, etc. But what's going to happen is that as you guys are in a better position, you're going to see people around you that did not build an ark, right? When it starts to flood, and you guys are going to be go tos, and so just kind of have an idea about that. Just try to stay focused in the middle of all this stuff that's going on, because when we do the software development stuff and we do this coding over the next couple of months, um, you guys really are going to have to kind of block out all the stuff going on in your lives, all the stuff going on in politics, etc., and just know that we're going to sail through it all, right? We're going to sail straight through it because we know that it's going to come, right? But we know it's going to pass, and we know that we're not going to get swept up by it. Okay. So outside of that, I wish you guys well on your practice exam. Let me know when you guys schedule your final exam. And then make sure that you guys give me your result. T, if you take the test and they let you and your recurrent counts, just let me know that. And then otherwise, I wish you guys luck on your exam, and you guys can enjoy the rest of your weekend. Otherwise, are you guys good to go?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys. I'll let you guys loose. Enjoy your weekend and good luck on your exams.
Right.
All right.